This is a review of the all-new Kia ProCeed. Let's go! In the front, they all have this tiger nose front grille, but this one here directly comes as a GT line. There's no entry-level version available, at least yet. So they are also this special black structure in there, and also a stronger lower bumper with this shiny black paint here, contrasting lower lip. Then also directly the headlamps come with LED. A normal Ceed would start with halogen. The ProCeed here directly with the LED and this daytime running light with the 4-dot design. So very interesting as for the approach right here. Wow, what an interesting design silhouette in the side profile. 4.60 m, 15'1" or 181 inches is the length here. And it's the same for the Ceed Sportswagen, the estate that is available. Then here for the ProCeed, which is now the design estate. Remember before it was the 3-door version of the Ceed. And the Ceed 5-door is shorter, but they all have the same wheelbase. Difference than the ProCeed and the true classic estate. This one here is 4.3 centimeters lower from the roofline, and then also falling right here to give you this design approach with a stronger shoulder. Interesting design fin here also right there. Not sure what's the use of that. I think it would have been more beautiful if they just would have kept it blank. Or what's your take on that? 17-inch wheels are standard with a GT line. Optional 18-inch. Very beautiful, aren't they? So nice dual tone design. Then black mirror caps, chrome frame around the windows. I think that's more elegant than the black approach. And a contrast in lower part with black and silver elements. So overall is a very, very unique design. And the color is called Fusion Orange Metallic. Do you like it? And this rear 3/4 perspective is particularly interesting. Doesn't it look like a small Porsche Panamera? Probably that's what they intended to have. Then this LED signature goes right there, and there's also a light strip right there. So this is also a pretty unique feature. It goes all the way through. ProCeed logo. Well, and when we take a look at the very straight rear, we can see the nice symmetry right there from design elements. So that's very nicely done, I think. However, major fake exhaust alert right here, even with a structure on the inside. The real one then is right below. With the ProCeed you do not get the base engines like in the Ceed 5-door or in the Sportswagen. Directly starts with a 1.4 liter turbo petrol engine. You can see here 140 horsepower. And then there's also the true GT available, 1.6 turbo, 204 horsepower. And on the diesel side, 1.6 liter with 115 or 136 horsepower. That would be usual available, but here then also only in the higher horsepower spec. Oh, and fuel economy, I can already tell you right now, is about 7 to 8 liters. So you can score about 7 liters in 100 kilometers. That's definitely 30 mpg plus US or more than 35 mpg UK. Now to the interior, soft touch here at the top of the doors, 2 memory slots for the seats. GT line here, special floor mats together with some aluminum pedals. Then the special GT line interior, it comes close to the true GT one. Flat bottom steering wheel, perforated sides. And then those seats here, the form is sportier with the shoulder support. This is really helpful. GT line badge. And in this case, microfiber on the inside and on the lower part, leather red on the outside, but here the higher part, this is then animal skin, very unnecessary. But there's also one base entry trim. It's the same sport seat, but then you have fabric on the inside and all leather red on the outside, and you save some money. And it's actually even a little bit cooler with fabric than with microfiber in summertime. Getting inside, easy and standard compact hatch style. Well, in this case not, well, there is a hatch, but it's a compact estate. So when I have the seat in the lowest position with 1m86 or 6'1", still leaves some headroom left, right, but because the whole roofer, and I said earlier, is about 4 centimeters lower in comparison to the sports wagon and also the Ceed 5-door. Interior overview, soft touch here, also on top of the dash right there. Then a normal seat would start with a 5-inch screen. Since this one here is a GT line and the ProCeed starts with a GT line, at least in Germany, you always get a 7-inch one, and this one is the optional 8-inch one. This one also includes a GPS directly. Soon we'll also give you more deals on that. And there's always the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connection inbuilt there. And some hotkeys right here also for the screen left. Manual volume knob too. Then steering wheel, quite compact size. Adaptive cruise control on the right side to control it. Left side for muting or increasing sound, for example, picking up the phones. And the instrument cluster in the middle one digital, right side still analog, still a classic setup. Also a classic climate unit. I like that it's so easy control while driving, and also activate or deactivate the AC, and the buttons have good quality and are easy to use. The car you don't have to learn first. Seat heating and a heated steering wheel is also standard here for the GT line. Such a nice feature in winter times. Dual clutch transmission with a nice shifting lever. And the sports mode button is here on the left side. We'll talk about that when we drive the car. In the front part you have the cable connection for your smartphone, or the top part is here then for the inductive charging platform. You can use both how you like. And last but not least, cup holders, adaptive, all pretty solid. And then the armrest right there, you can put it up. Shake test here, yeah, it wobbles a little bit, but then underneath you have reasonable space. Infotainment up close. First of all, the map right here. Yeah, like pinching and zooming is, they still don't have it. It's not working with this kind of system. Really hope for a new infotainment system, but yes, they are working on it at the moment. So, but finding a destination is still okay. Everything else and that, yeah, Then this is the home screen for the touchscreen, and better, and that's also the reason why we maybe not go for the 8-inch, but stick with the 7-inch, because then you just rely on your CarPlay, for example, and use your map in there when your smartphone has enough data and so on. The legroom in the rear is one of the weak points of this car, so yeah, I hit my knees here in the back of the seat. So what's really interesting, you can press a button at the key fob, but when you just approach the vehicle with the key in your pocket, stand still, wait a couple of seconds, and then the hatch opens itself. What a great function. First time we've seen it with the Hyundai Tucson in the Hyundai Kia Corporation. That's awesome. Here, a suitcase fits in like this, for example. Does it also fit in like this upright under the cover? Great setup here as for the loading compartment, and well, the overall length then here to the seats, to the seat as I would be driving, well, 1.90 meters approximately, and a little bit more forward. This is already 2 meters. Welcome. That's sport mode. Interesting drive. That's pretty loose, so to say. So the sport mode turns up the gears, and starting here on the motorway at about 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour, and it's reasonable silent in here, so nothing to complain about that. There is also a lane keep assist. Here we go. So it's active counter steering, and that's good. I like it when it's done that way and not with braking intervention as we know it from Mercedes. Yeah, that would be one advantage here at the Kia ProCeed versus the Mercedes CLA shooting brake. Very interesting first finding in the driving part. And the good thing is, well, it's hard to see, but here on the left side, you can always deactivate the assistance systems by one press of a button. And so you can get rid of those also when you think, oh, you know, that's annoying right now, I want to drive more freely. Then it's just one push of the button and the lane keeping assist is deactivated. That's very nice. There's also blind spot monitor available for this vehicle. You can see it here on the left side of the mirrors. And probably you've already seen it flashing once. I'll try to let it flash also once more. So waiting for those trucks to get on, now some city driving. And yeah, I mean, since it's all the same wheelbase, all Kia Ceed models somewhat feel the same. That's no wonder. It's the same platform, same wheelbase, just different length. You feel a little bit of a difference here with the Estate and with the ProCeed because there's just a longer overhang in the rear for a longer trunk. So yes, the 5-door feels more agile, especially as the GT version. However, we also have this one here as a GT line, and the ProCeed has already somewhat a stiffer suspension. You already feel it, though it has a sportier setup, for example, than the Estate from the base. And when you have some bumps in the road, that can get a little bit, yeah, like now, a little bit uncomfortable, like now, bam bam. So yeah, you have to like that, this sportier, stiffer setup, and there's no adaptive suspension available for the Ceed, so you have to live with this suspension and when you go for it. The GT, of course, is tuned to an even sportier one then, and feels somewhat more agile and more fun to drive, but this one here is actually already reasonably fun. The steering is very light, especially for city traffic, so you don't need any force in your hands for that. And when we shift back to the sports mode, again there's a gear lower than usually and the RPMs are turned up higher. I don't feel much difference here in the steering wheel setup when I go from normal to the sports mode, actually, maybe just a little bit. So the steering overall feels very light and stays pretty light. And let's go. Plop. And that's it. So I think it's still quite decent. You can see here in the sport mode. Again, even in the sport mode, the steering wheel stays quite loose, but whoa. It's a quite sporty handling. So the new chassis that's the Ceed received with this new generation CD. It's the new generation internally called. It's really stiffer overall than the predecessor generation, and so feels actually quite sporty. And now to our conclusion for today with the Kia ProCeed. Definitely a very interesting approach here with this design focus. So it's basically the same vehicle as the Sportswagen, as the Estate. And all three, the 5-door, the ProCeed and the Sportswagen of the Ceed, they drive almost the same, more or less, because they have the same wheelbase. Depends on if you go for the GT line, which already has a stiffer suspension, especially here in the ProCeed. And the GT definitely then with the stiffest ride and also the most powerful one. However, the 1.4 liter turbo is totally sufficient for this car, has enough power and it drives very well. Also the noise insulation is quite good and also the interior build quality. And you can still see that you have a lot of luggage space right there. You're a little bit limited in height, but indeed this car combines this coupe design wishes with very good usability overall. Yeah, it has not so much legroom, but then it has a lot of length, especially in the trunk. The question is, what is more important to you? Some parts in the interior which could be upgraded, infotainment system software too, and on the driving part, the steering feeling could be a little bit better. Those are the things we found. Oh, and yeah, and the AC sometimes has a strange smell. That's quite frequent with Kia and Hyundai models I have tested, especially when you sometimes change from using the AC on using not the AC, for example. But other than that, a lot of positive elements, easy to learn the car, very good and balanced driving feel overall. Adaptive suspension would be quite nice. And last but not least, is way about 7,000–8,000 euros cheaper than a Mercedes CLA shooting brake, and then it gets really attractive. If you think, oh, a CLA shooting brake would be my dream car, but I'm not really, I cannot afford it, but I don't want to afford it, then this one might be a very interesting alternative. Or if you think about going for the estate, but want a little bit more, sportiness in design, then this could also be something for you. It starts already, at more than 30,000, for example, in Germany. But the reason it only starts with a GT line and also the bigger engine. And then only the price difference between the estate, the classic one, and this one here is about 1,000 euros only. So it's actually not such a big price difference. What's your take here today on the Kia ProCeed? Please tell me in the comments and join us next time.